LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Anthony Davis.
On Wednesday. Thank you for joining the programme tonight. I'm Anthony Davis. We're discussing the benefit caps that apparently isn't working. Mike Penning, who's a work and pensions minister, has condemned the Chartered Institute of Housing report as fundamentally flawed after it estimated that only 10% of those hit by the cap in one London borough, Haringey, had secured jobs or increased their working hours. However, he couldn't give a government figure for the number of people affected who were working more as a result. So tonight we've been looking at this with some very interesting contributions. We've learnt that people want to work, but there simply aren't enough jobs, and the jobs that there are only part-time jobs. So they're falling into a benefit trap. But if that's the case, what do we want to do to get people off benefits? What lengths should we go to? If the cuts don't work, then what is the answer? 0845 6060 973. Everal's in Brixton. Hi, Everal.
Good evening.
Evening.
It is a trap, because at the end of the day, I would like to work full time, yeah, and I would like a job. But at the end of the day, if you go give me a part time job, then it's where I'm going to live at the end of the day, you know, because it's they're saying about housing benefit and on top of that, but I've been sanctioned. Yeah, I got sanctioned last week. I've gone on the computers, yeah, and I'm looking for work. I'm still even looking for work, even though I've been sanctioned. They said that I've been sanctioned for 4 weeks. Yeah, and I don't understand that. So after this sanction, I'm going to be in debt to the council for my housing benefit. And I don't understand how that works.
So are you saying that if you are offered a part-time job, or you find a part-time job, there's no point in taking it because it's not going to cover your exes, because then you'll be off JSA and your housing benefit will be stopped? Yeah, basically. I would take it, but at the end of the day, my housing benefit is going to be stopped, and I'm going to be put in debt anyway. You know? So you're better off staying on the benefit, not finding a job, and knowing that at least your housing and your council tax will be paid, and then somehow you'll make the £72 a week work, trying to, pay for food and pay your bills.
I wish I was getting £72. I'm getting £53 a week.
You're on the lower rate, are you?
Yeah, £53. I'm 45 years old. Yeah, I'm getting £53 a week. Yeah, I've got a one-bedroom flat. Yeah, I've got to pay my rent. I've got to put on the electricity. Yeah, but it's all electric. I've got to pay electricity. And then after, when they sanction you, they turn around to you and say, go down and go and get this thing from the charity. But you get food from the charity. But how are you supposed to cook it?
So hang on a second. You're telling me that the DWP are telling you to go to a food bank to get your food?
Yeah. But I can't cook it because they send me down there.
And they're giving you tins, things that need to be heated up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to cook the food and go down there? I've got proof. I've got it on the website and that. Right. That I've been looking for work. Yeah, my emails and all that. I can't even afford to run my phone for the emails. I have to go certain places to go and check my email.
How many people do you think are like you, Everal, who are experiencing this kind of life or existing in this way presently?
Put it this way, yeah. When it happened to me, right, it's like they have a routine, right? Because when it happened to me, I saw other people coming out and with the same bit of paperwork where they got sanctioned. You know, so they do it as a routine to keep the numbers.
So are you alive or actually living? What are you doing here? You're existing.
I'm crawling. I'm crawling. Basically, I'm crawling. I'm just existing. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, what am I supposed to do? Well, I would love to work. I would love to work. I've tried everything. I've gone to councils. I've gone to everywhere to try and get jobs. I'm even still looking for work, even though I've been sanctioned.
Okay.
So I've written down everything, all the job numbers and everything.
Well, look, you sound like a very intelligent, very eloquent person. You sound also like you've got enough get up and go. There sounds like an awful lot of, energy and gumption in your delivery. I don't see why you shouldn't be working for somebody. I'm sure somebody you'd make a great employee. But the point is that whilst the minimum wage jobs are the only ones that are available and they're part-time, it actually works out less, week-wise than you're going to get on the benefit. It's just, it's not rocket science. Everell, thank you for the call. All the best. Good luck to you. OK, let's get straight back to your calls on this. And don't forget you can text and tweet the programme as well. Ben's in Haringey. Hello, Ben.
Hello. My daughter has a thing called temporal lobe epilepsy, which is a type of epilepsy which is uncontrolled by drugs. And they're trying to force her to go to work. She's got to attend these back-to-work interviews, etc. And every time she goes there, she's under so much stress by these people that she fits.
Oh, my goodness.
And she has a fit she wears one of these helmets, which was made specially for her by the London Hospital. And it's the misery it's caused by these genuinely ill people who are forced in that sort of position. Our contributory benefits have now ceased after a year. She worked for 9 years as a social worker. She was a special needs social worker with special needs children, and she couldn't do the job anymore because she developed this illness. And I rang a barrister to see if she could sue these people, because they're forcing her into a position where a vast amount of stress is caused by these people, and her fits have actually increased. And obviously she injures herself and she has to attend the hospital, etc. And the barrister said, well, you can't do anything. I feel I was a trade union rep for many years. And if someone's forcing you into a situation like this, they must have a duty of care under the Health and Safety at Work Act.
Well, of course, you would have thought so, but of course, again, the government has not...
Parliament, and you've got to attend these interviews.
Yeah. Well, what kind of interviews are they, Ben? What kind of interviews are they, Ben? What types of things is she interviewing for?
Well, first of all, they stop her money. She sent a form in 2 days late because she was trying to gather medical information, because they send a form on a regular basis. You stop your benefit and then they send you a form and you fill it in. She was 2 days late filling it in and they sent her a P45. And they stopped her benefits, everything. I was panicking. And she got the form in, and there's a clause on the form which says, if you send it in late, you put an excuse for why you've actually sent it. Well, you're gathering medical information. It's very difficult to get it anyway, because you've got to see doctors, you've got to get letters from specialists, etc. And the amount of stress that's causing her, I can't even sue them if she's injured. It's just ridiculous. And the misery it's caused by not only my daughter, but many, many people, and some have actually committed suicide. The government have got blood on their hands because of this system that's set up. I worked all my life, and I'm still working. And you expect a caring country, not the system that's set up. I am totally against people fiddling on but the facts don't back up what they're actually saying. The facts. Government's own figures say there's 5%. You don't persecute the 95% who are genuine.
I've been saying this for years, Ben, that they should have created a crack team that was, connected to the police, a fraud unit possibly, who went after the 5% and left the 95% to get on with their lives. And even in, amongst those claiming disability benefits, the fraud supposedly in disabilities was less than 1%. A tiny fraction of 1%. And yet they've tarred everybody with the same brush with these assessments that are causing so much emotional turmoil and stress that there have been cases of self-harming and even suicide.
Yes.
And so who do you blame? Do you blame people like Ian Duncan Smith or ministers who have brought these policies about?
Yes, I do. Even the Atos person that runs Atos at the moment said they've been doing it for 10 years, and since the coalition government have came in and changed the rules, then this is where all this misery is being caused, because they're only going by what the government are actually telling them to do. And that's what he claims, because he's getting so many attacks now upon his organisation. I mean, what they need to do, as you say, chase these people up. I am totally against people because they ruin it for genuine people who should be cared for and not pilloried.
And the point is that, you know, those of us who are taxpayers, we want to care for people. You know, we want our tax money to go for people who are less fortunate than ourselves. Yeah. And that is part of the society that most of us law-abiding taxpayers want to live in. We don't want people to be demonised or segregated or criticised or embarrassed into thinking that, you know, claiming benefits is in some way a disease. I mean, it's just part of life, and not everybody is lucky.
Well, they've won the propaganda war. The government have won the propaganda war because they bang on about hard-working people. I mean, the hard-working people are actually, most of them are actually claiming benefits. They're claiming council tax. They're claiming, 92% of the people that are actually claiming council tax now are working. You know, council tax benefits and rent rebates, etc. Originally, they were actually part of the supplement benefit system, and they changed it to councils and gave councils the responsibility. But it's still benefits. And this is where the hard-working, they keep banging on about. They've been told to bang on about this because it demonises people. People are actually getting attacked now because they're in a wheelchair and all, it's spat upon and all sorts of things happening.
Yeah.
It's terrible. This sort of thing has happened in we're supposed to be a caring society.
But it's only happened in the last couple of years. I wouldn't mind, but I mean, you know, we were all getting on really rather well a few years ago, and suddenly, you know, this has all changed. Ben, I have to go, but I'm very pleased for your call because, you know, you've highlighted an aspect of this that we hadn't really thought about tonight, and I think you've certainly made people think at the very least. And I wish you and your daughter all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Ben in Haringey on LBC 97.3.